Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deepa Robbins from DeeZinesByD, and today I have the second part of the February release for Spellbinders. Now I have Susan's Garden Favorites, that's what this collection is called, and what these are all of those beautiful flower dies that you can buy and then shape so nicely into beautiful realistic looking type flowers. And I think the key to using these flowers is to know how to shape them, so I'm going to kind of go through how I shape the flowers for this clematis card. So I have three sets. It's the clematis, the freesia, and the peach blossom. I'm going to be doing the video today on the clematis, and then I also have a couple more reels for the freesia and the peach blossom, which I will have on my Instagram account. So don't forget to follow me there at DeeZinesByD. So as I'm showing you, I'm using this clematis set, and you can see it tells you on the actual die how many of each of those dies that you need to cut out. Anytime that there's no number, it's just automatically known you cut one. Otherwise, it'll tell you cut 2, 3, or however many that you're going to need. And that's pretty much across the board for all of these flower dies, because it's sometimes hard to know how many petals you need for each. So for the clematis die, it is pretty simple. You only need 2 of the larger flower, and it tells you 2 times, 2x. So times 2, I cut 2 of these out of some vellum. And then for the leaves, there's no number. So that means I just cut this die once, and I cut it out of some ivory glitter cardstock. And I also cut it out of some vellum because I'm going to layer them. Now that other little piece is part of the center, and I only cut that once. There's no number. And then these other little stars are the center as well, and it says to cut those 3 times. So I cut those again out of that white glitter cardstock. Now for the vellum, I don't want it to be white vellum. I want it to have a nice light blue color, so I'm actually using my Copic chows to color them in. And I've listed the colors that I've used. There's 3 colors. I first of all use the lightest color to kind of just color the entire piece in, and then I'm using the 2 darker colors to kind of just add some striations, some straight lines along the leaves or the petals of the flower to just create that nice lined look that the clematis sometimes has. So as you can see, it gives you just like a nice subtle bluey look. It's not too intense. Now in terms of adding shape and texture, I'm using the smallest stylus from the Spellbinders 2-in-1, and I'm once again creating those same lines along the petals of the flower. On top of that, I used the bigger stylus to then create some rounding on the inside of the petal. And what this does is just gives it like a bit of a bulge near the center, and then it kind of comes out along the edges. When you put this along the edges, it creates a bit of fraying, not like tearing, but just kind of bending at the edges of the petals like a natural petal would do. Now, if you find that that's not enough and you kind of want it to have a bit more fold to it, you can use the other end of one of the other styluses, or you can use like a pencil or something like that to kind of bend the edges like I did there. And then I used the stylus to push down in the center. And I find by pushing down in the center of the flower, it pushes the rest of the petals up and gives it more of a natural look. Now, once I'm done that, I will add glue and attach the 2 rounds of petals. And then I'll work on the stamen in the center of the flower. Now, I'm not creating a realistic looking flower. Mine, because it's on vellum, it has more of a classic kind of look, and you know it's not a real flower. So you can kind of put the stamen together however you want. And that's kind of what I did here. I put the 3 layers together, I glued them, and then I kind of folded all those little stamen pieces up to create that little cup in the center that has all those little pieces. Now here's the very center, and all I did was add some glue and then twist it around to create that round little center, and then kind of fold the tops over to make it look a little bit more natural and so that it shows like the glitter on that cardstock. I added a big blob of glue in the center and then attached it. Now, if you don't have time to let your flowers dry like I'm going to, what I would suggest is to use a hot glue gun, because that will just allow this to adhere real quickly with no drying time. Once that's done, I'll adhere that little stamen piece into the center, and there you have your beautiful flower. Now the petals are nicely shaped. They have that striation kind of on the petal out towards the edge. And because this is vellum, that striation mark is kind of amplified because it kind of creates a little tear, but not breaking the vellum apart, and it kind of just creates like a darker solid white on there. Now I have this Spellbinders optical arches folder, and I used it to emboss a piece of gray cardstock, and it's a bluey gray cardstock, so it kind of matches with the blue of the clematis. Then I have the Spellbinders Fluted Classics ovals. Now these ovals are perfect to use if you want to kind of draw your eye into the center of the card and just kind of have it showcase your sentiment. So I used the middle-sized ovals, and I kind of attached them together with some washi tape so I could get the right spacing. And then I cut that out, and you can see it creates a really nice embossed edge. Then I'm also going to use some of the Spellbinders Be Bold Blooms. This is a beautiful set. As you know, Spellbinders has a ton of sets with small like little foliage and floral images that you can add to all of your cards. This set is really nice because the foliage is a little bigger. And so when you're making a card that's bigger like myself, these work very well. Now you can see I colored in that vellum with one of the same colors that we use for the clematis. And then I cut that out along with some of the stems out of white cardstock, and then also the bottom layer of the buds and a couple fronds from that ivory glitter cardstock. Now I'm going to do my sentiment, and I'm using that Be Bold Sentiments set that was also released during this month. And I'm also going to be using the mini everyday sentiments to just foil another sub-sentiment to go with this. And this set is really nice because there's tons of sentiments on here, and actually the little banners are different sizes. So there's 3 different sizes. So if you have a longer banner or a shorter one, you don't kind of have to do partial die cutting. You can just use what's there, which I find really helpful, especially when you're kind of rushing to get stuff together. Now, for my foiling, you can see I did cut out the hello and the sentiment, and I taped my washi tape over top. I wanted to show you that it did take some of the foil off, so that's just a little tip for you guys. I did end up refoiling this and cutting them out again, but don't put your washi tape over top of your foiling. I find sometimes it doesn't come off, but sometimes it does, and just to avoid having to redo things, you might as well just put your tape on the outside of your die so that it doesn't pull off the foil. Now I'm just going to assemble all of those little pieces, those little buds and the little fronds that I cut out from the Be Bold Blooms set. And you can see I'm just kind of adding some of my Barely Arts glue to the back of that stem and then attaching it to the little buds. And I'll do the same thing for this little frond here, and as you can see I'm attaching those little blue buds on top of that glitter cardstock. So what this does is create sort of a subdued glitter effect in that blue color that I have in the clematis, which just kind of ties everything together. So we'll attach those little buds to the stem just like I did for the previous stem, and the final result is a cute little bud with those glittery blue pieces there. Now to put this all together, so I'm going to use my arches, and I'm going to actually put them on the side. If you've probably seen a lot of cards that have them right side up, it actually doesn't matter. Any way you want to use them, it just makes your card more unique. Now I'm going to attach that oval in the center, and I attached it with some foam strips here just to add a bit of dimension. Not that I don't have enough already. And then I'm also going to add those little clematis. Well, they're not little. They're actually a generous size. So I'm making an A7 size card. So this is 5 by 7 inches. If you're making an A2 size card, those flowers are pretty much going to fill your card. So, do what works for you. I only use 2 on here. You might want to just use 1. You might want to maybe use half of one, have it off the edge. It's completely up to you. So now I'm just going to stick all those little extra foliage and floral pieces. Well, I guess they're not floral, they're just buds, right? But it looks so nice with those clematis flowers, especially with how nicely they're shaped. And it's just a little bit of extra. So it's not kind of taking your attention away from the clematis. It just kind of enhances the look of the card without, taking too much away from the main flowers. And then to finish it off, I'm just using some nail art gems. Now, these are simple little gems that you can find on Amazon. I find that they work nicely for my cards. If you like the colors, these are all in clear and AB colored, but Spellbinders has a bunch of their own gems in different colors. And there's actually like a nice sapphire set, which would have gone really nice with this card, but I just don't have them on me. But that's definitely something I'm going to be buying soon. So anyways, just to finish off those flowers, I decided to add some diamond stickles. Now the diamond stickles are really nice because the glitter shines that AB color. So AB, I've mentioned before, is Aurora Borealis. It'll pick up the color of anything else in your card, which is really nice. And you can see this just creates a nice, classic, fancy, kind of elegant looking card. And I've used those clematis dies to create interesting looking flowers. They're not realistic, but they do have shape and form that makes them really nice to look at, and they really draws your eye to them on the card. So all of these products are available in the Spellbinders store right now, and there's actually a bit of a sale going on. So I have them all linked in my blog, which is in a link in the description below. Please go ahead and check that out. And if you are thinking of buying, I would appreciate greatly if you would use my affiliate links, which are the links in my blog. All it means is that I get a small commission at no extra cost to you because I have shown you the products and hopefully inspired you in some way to use these products to create cards of your own. So I hope that you've liked my video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more, and I hope to see you again. Bye.